Hello, hello, everybody. How are you? It's been a little bit since I've been on the page. Like I said, I'm doing the 30-day challenge with my group. So if you haven't joined the group, you got to join the group, guys. So I'm going to let people hop on. I know it is 3 o'clock, so maybe you guys are done with your schooling for the day and you're kind of taking a break before dinner time, at least you East Coasters. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods, and I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. So with that said, hi Tara, how are you? So with that said, we're going to get started today with talking about these waivers that are coming into play and what's going on with them, the alerts that us COPA people were notified with, the accuracy of them, what they mean for you, and why that's kind of, important to know because it's going to impact us in such a major way. I cannot even begin to tell you. So this morning, I literally felt sick to my stomach with some of the things that were being talked about and that had been put out there that was very concerning. Okay, so we're going to get there in just a second. So for those of you who are new, who maybe have just joined the group and you're new, you've only maybe seen me once or twice, post a 1 below. Say hello, tell me who you are, and I want to get to know you. And if you haven't joined the group, you've got to head over there. It's Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP group. All right, that's where a lot of people talk, and it's a little bit more comfortable because it's a private group. So with that said, if you're an oldie but goodie, you guys know what to do. Post a 2 below. Okay, so 1 below if you're new, 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. I want to know you're on here. I want to know you're live with me. Or if you're catching the replay, post a 1 below if you're new and 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie, so I know that you caught the live and just after the fact, which is totally cool. So we're going to get started. So I made a post this morning, all right, that was in regards to waivers, all right? And those waivers were accurate, but they're actually more so, how should I say it? It's more what's called an accountability report card. All right. So it's weird. Okay. So what that means is the states do not have to report to the feds for their state's accountability report cards. So, this is based off of, the secretary requesting from each and every state. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Jesse, Michelle. Welcome, Kathy. You're new. So yes, she did what's right. 1 below if you're new, 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. All right. So, what an accountability report card is what the school systems by state have to post in regards to what they're requesting, what they're proposing, and that sort of thing. So the Secretary, basically, of Education in DC asked each state to basically, it was kind of a smorgasbord of, hey, what do you guys want, what you're looking for, how can we, assist you, kind of thing. And then she takes everything, even what COPA sends her, and any other advocacy group in regards to special ed, parents, etc., from that have been writing senators and congressmen, which I hope you guys have. So basically, everything's going into this smorgasbord of an arena, okay? And then she's going to write up a proposal, and then that is submitted, and then decisions are made, all right? So decisions are made on the federal level in regards to IDEA. a lot of the argument that's out there is in regards to the fact that IDEA is based off something that Congress put into play, and how the heck can that be adjusted or changed? Well, because of this situation, things can be adjusted and changed and modified. That is not for the long term, but it's in regards to what's happening right now. Okay. So how I have dissected this, because of how it's been written, is basically these are the proposals in regards to what's going on. All right. They're not going to actually be in play as of yet. All right. Each state also has submitted their own requests, waiver requests, in regards to what's going to go into play. So, for example, a lot of states have requested that reading and math assessments kind of be thrown out for the year 2019-20 school year. A lot of states have requested, comprehensive support and improvements and target areas, be kind of thrown out and not put into play. And then the biggest one for me is the requirement of states to, they have to annually state report card containing data on student assessments, school quality, and student success indicators, and progress towards meaningful long-term goals and measures of interim progress. All right. So, and that is in play. And some of these are in play that have been posted, and, how they're written is really frustrating and hard to read. And, it goes to show how, things are going to create an uproar for people because things are not being understood. And that's even on our end because of how it's written. So it's important to understand what's going into, play. Now, the 45 days is going into play. Okay, so from the start of school for 45 days, nothing from really the end of school when things cut off for you guys to the 45 days after school starts, they're going to be given, extensions on evaluations, on IEP meetings, on, addressing any type of evaluation in regards to qualifying for special education. Anything that the school system has to do based off IDEA in regards to special education that takes a certain amount of time. For example, evaluations, 60 to 65 days, right? They're going to get an extension on that. IEP meeting, typically you meet within a 30-day period. They're going to get an extension on that. And so that's why over in the group, I've been doing this 30-day challenge to prepare them to be completely prepared, and weekly emails and videos being sent to the school system each week, because really to hold yourself accountable and to prove what's going on. It's not a, if it's not in writing, it never happened scenario right now. It's a, if it's not on video, it never happened. All right. So, and the reason I say that is your child's not in school. They have no idea what's going on with your child. So if you said, my son is throwing fits and having meltdowns and throwing himself on the floor and banging his head, and, they're just happening all over the place. I don't know what to do. His, writing went from really good to either non-existent, or look at this writing. It's, atrocious. I can't even read it. Whatever it is, if you don't catch it on video, they're going to say, because you're going to say something more than likely when school starts, and and they've not heard from you until then. And they're going to say, oh, just let him get acclimated. He's just learning. He's just getting back into school. Don't worry about it. You're going to get all that BS going on. All right. Versus, hey, since March or since April, my son started doing this because of everything that's been going on, and he's still doing it now at the start of school. And then you have a time frame in which your child is doing it. And what I'm doing is, and this is actually something I'm going to be talking about on my group later, is, you know, along with what we're talking about today, for the 30-day challenge, is I'm going to take all of my videos, even though I'm going to send individual ones, you know, to them that I clip. I'm actually going to put everything together into a movie, which all apps and all kinds of stuff do that now. So it's super easy. If you guys need like a tutorial, I'll do it. Just post it for me. Definitely join the group, because a lot of that stuff doesn't happen here on the page. I more go live with information versus a lot of the things that I do extra over on the group. So it's Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP group. All you got to do is put it in the search, but I can also post something below, or maybe one of my oldies but goodies can post the link or URL below. It's important to create the timeline, all right? So when you have videos, all right, say you video on your phone, all right? Upload your video to either the cloud if you have, you know, Apple, or I don't know anything about Android and stuff, but you guys probably know what to do. Email it to yourself and then download it to your computer, you know, make it, you know, put it in QuickTime or something like that. And, you know, even on your phone, you can, you know, there's so many apps out there now that you can create like a movie, you know, but if there's a time limit to it and you're doing this length of time, I suggest do it by either bi-weekly or by month, you know. And again, remember, you can clip the videos. So, you know, I was telling people, you know, I have videos, you know, I have a video in my daughter's room, in the living room, in the kitchen, so I can catch things, which it's probably most of it going to be deleted. But all those areas that are important is important to catch, because if you don't have that, guys, it never happened. Okay. And then they're going to lead you on and lead you on. And, oh, we don't see that here. That doesn't happen here at school. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that they're going through it now, and they've either lost, you know, something that they were having a service for, or they were, thanks, Shauna, or they were, you know, really in a good place, and maybe they have a BIP and they were in a good place and now they're not, you know, so that's just important. I kind of got off topic, but I just wanted to let you guys know that, because it's so important, so important. But join us over on the group. We're doing the 30-day challenge. I think today is day 10, so you're not too far behind. All right, so, you know, you'll see on the post, it's here and on the group, where most of it is section 1111. Some of them are B2, C4, H. Gosh, there's, I think there's, God, I don't have it all in front of me, but there is many C's in the section, but most of the sections are 1111, all right? And you can even go and read it on the Department of Ed website, okay? And just, you know, copy and paste the section number, and then you can look it up yourself. But, you know, if you look at it, it's alarming, because it says, you know, what caught me today when I saw it was 2019-2020 school year. And literally my heart dropped into my stomach, because the first thing I thought about it was, what the hell? Like, how does that even make sense? How can they do that? You know, 3/4 of the year has already passed. You know, the kids started school in August, and, you know, our kids didn't end school because of spring break for us. And it would have started back on March 23rd, but then all this happened and there was no school. Okay. So I'm thinking, okay, so from August, whatever it was that they started, to March 23rd, they get out in May, and you're saying that this pertains to all of 2019, all of 2020, to the 45 days of start of school. Are you shitting me? I mean, that's literally what went through my head. Literally. Okay. Just keeping it transparent and real. Okay. And I'm thinking in my head, like, oh my God, this is crazy. But here's the thing is, you know, there's no way that they can completely disregard anything that happened for most of the school year, because it wasn't affected by this virus. All right. Now, any upcoming evaluations, possibly that you may have right now or coming up. Yes.
Mom, can you go for a walk, please?
We are. All right, give me a few minutes, okay? All right. So it's important to realize that, for example, assessments requirements for the 2019-20 school year. That's okay to be kind of disregarded, right? So the requirements for assessments, there's kind of a long line of things in regards to how assessments are done and so forth. So they're basically saying, okay, we're just going to wash that and we're going to let it go because it's not something that we really need to be focused on right now. All right. The next one is accountability and school identification requirements. All right. And that are based on data from the 2019-20 school year. That worried me. However, because it says for that year, and so, the identification requirements. So what that is, because at first I read it and you know how you can read something and then your heart just jumps in your stomach and you kind of just jump the gun? Well, that's what happened. So what that means is accountability and school identification of your child. So if, they were identified that year or, certain things going on with that, and this is kind of your child's first year IEP, all that kind of thing, that's where that kind of comes into play. I was thinking more on the lines of, oh my God, all the data for the 2019-20 school year. Are you kidding me? What? But that's not the case, okay? It has to do with the identification requirements, okay? Then the next one says report card provisions, what we were just talking about, for each state. Related to assessments and accountability in section 11111, based on data from the 2019 school year, and these include accountability system descriptions, okay? So that is just a state report card that they have to submit that federal, it doesn't get passed on to the feds, okay? That's just a statewide thing, and it has to do with the school kind of having a report card in regards to all of this, okay? And, it wouldn't be accurate right now because of everything going on, okay? So relief there. Section 11111H is more in line with assessment results, okay? So that one is a big question mark. I'm going to be very transparent with you. We're still trying to figure that out, and when I know for fact what exactly that means, I'm going to come back live, okay? But I wanted to relieve you guys of some things, and I'm going to be very honest with you that some of them were just kind of a big question mark, and I've emailed them at the Department of Education, and some of us COPA advocates have, really pushed to have an explanation and clarification of these so that we can then go pass that on. Because how they will write it up, that you could, once things are out on the Department of Ed, how they write it up is going to be a big cluster mess, just like this is. So I want to be able to have exact clarification of it to dissect each one and each section so that I can then, report back on it. All right, so the academic, the assessment area is a big, question mark as far as assessment results. So the big question mark is, okay, is that for the whole 2019-20 school year? Or is that just in regards to now to 45 days from school starts? What do you mean by that? Because there's no date, there's nothing. So there's a big question mark there. There's no date or anything in section 11111H1C in regards to other academic indicator results. So take that back to assessments. This has to do with other results in regards to special education. All right. And this is in general for general ed as well. Okay. English language proficiency results. So basically they're not going to, take any data in reference to any results from, a period of time, because obviously those children more than likely are going to lose the vocabulary and the language that they may have learned this past year because they're not keeping it going, which is understandable. That one makes sense. Another one is, for example, it says school quality of student success indicator results. That's another question mark. What does that mean? School quality or student success indicator results. So we asked about that one because what does that mean? Indicator results, indicating to what, So, I like clarification on things. Okay, indicator results. Okay, what do you mean by that? Kind of like when I teach in my course, I always ask questions, and then I always ask a question from a question because you learn more that way. People who ask questions learn more, and they're more educated and smart and knowledgeable. And that's what I want for all of you. So I asked a bunch of questions in regards to that, and I'm still waiting on the email. Then the next one is progress towards meeting. This one was a worry, huge worry for me. This is probably number one for me. Progress towards meeting long-term goals and measurements of interim progress. That's a worry. There's no date on that. So my question was, okay, what is the date on that? Okay, I totally understand if it means from when school closed, ended, to 45 days from when school starts. Okay, I get that part. But don't you dare tell me that it is for the whole school year when they went to school for all of the school year except 2 months. I mean, some schools get out in June, but most get out in May these days, So we had March to April, April to May, 2 months out of the whole school year. So don't you tell me you're not going off of any of the progress results for the whole year. So that's why they didn't put a date here. So that's why I wanted more from them. If you're going to say that, yes, sweetheart. That's why I said, hey, if you're going to post this and you're going to say this is fact and this is a waiver, explain what it means. Explain what it means. I want to know when you say that progress towards meeting long-term goals and measurements of interim progress, which is huge. That's a huge part of the IEP. That's 80% of the IEP. So you better explain to me exactly what you mean. I mean, to the T, explain. Not just, hey, progress towards meeting long-term goals and measurements and interim progress. Well, what the hell does that mean? And what do you mean by that? Because that's huge. That's everything, Our kids have an IEP, I for individualized, for their uniqueness and goals based off that. And you're telling me you're not going to measure the progress during the 2019-20 school year minus the 2 months? Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. So, we want to know more in depth to that. I'm pretty sure, okay, I'm going to get back to you, okay? But that one is a big question mark too, because there's no way, in my mind, I'm just like, there's no way that the Department of Ed is going to say, oh, the whole school year is screwed. Because it's not. Because we're only talking about 2 months here, and I get the whole 45 days. Pisses me off, but I get the whole 45 days. Okay? So just take, when kids got out of school, most of them in March, to August. All right, so March, April, May, June, July, August. That's 6 months. Shit, that's a long time, guys. Oh my God, I didn't realize that. So a half a year our kids are missing. Wow. Did you guys realize that? Say that out loud. March through August. Wow. Did you guys realize that that's 6 months? Did you process that in your head? I think I just did that. You guys were witness to it. Wow. I did not think about it like that. Okay. So, wow. Our kids are going to need so much. Think about all the services, accommodations, and modifications they're going to need. That's crazy. Thank God I'm putting out a mini course on that, right? By the end of the month. That should be out by the 29th. Holy hell. Wow. Okay. So on I go, okay? As I'm kind of silently freaking out about that because it just processed in my brain. I knew it, but you know how you dissect something and then you're like, you actually digest it and you're like, oh my God. Okay, so moving on. So that one is a worry for me. So I will get back to you guys as soon as I have a legit answer and clarification on this, okay? Because the only one that says, 2019-20 are, the three areas. It's a little frustrating. And I wish I had more, but I wanted to dissect these for you and let you know the ones that had a big question mark and the ones that are the most concerning. So moving on, the next one is percentage of students assessed and not assessed. That doesn't really matter. Okay, we're just going to skip that one. Then the next one is number of percentage of students with the most significant cognitive disabilities taking an alternate assessment. That's a little bit of an issue, but hopefully it just means from March to August and then the 45 days after August, which kind of puts us, depending on when we start school, like the end of September, beginning October. And I hope you guys are with me, and especially over on the group, because I'm going to take you from 0 to 180 come, the next couple months, because if you don't, then you are going to go like that, or your child is, if you don't get on it right now. Okay. So typically I would say take a break during the summer, have an IEP mental shutdown and break. Well, guys, newsflash. Not going to happen. You guys are going to be on full alert. You need to be working full time on this and realizing that if you don't, then those 45 days are going to be just thrown in the trash and you're going to waste even more time. And like I've said on my group, it's not going to happen for you until Christmas. And by the time you come to an agreement and argue and fight and so forth, you're in the third quarter, to be honest. And that's not fair to your child. So please do the work now, okay? I'm going to have a complete, kind of plan of action for you. So keep follow the group, and we will get this together. I'm going to be holding a webinar, all right? I'm going to be starting a podcast, and I am going to have a summit in the fall. So I'm going to be starting my podcast in the summer. Woo! And then I am going to have a webinar pretty soon, okay, in the next probably 60 days. So I guess that's summer too. May, June, yeah. And so summer is a webinar and a podcast, and then early fall, September, is going to be a summit where I'll have an OT, a PT, speech therapist. I'm going to have a psychologist. I'm going to have a BCBA. I'm going to have a vision therapist, all types of specialties coming together to talk to you about what they do, how it can benefit your child, and a bunch of things that we really need as parents, okay? So that's coming. All right, so the next one, so the cognitive disabilities one, taking alternate assessments, I'm not so worried about that one. Like I said, the number one that I'm worried about is the progress towards meeting long-term goals and measurements of interim progress. That's the biggest one for me. Not sure about you. You can go check it out on the page or the group. You can kind of highlight the one that you're more worried about. You're welcome to post below what one you need clarification on that I have said that is a big question mark, and I'll know that those are ones that you definitely want to know more about. But for me, it's the progress and long-term goals and that sort of thing. All right. So another one, the next one is with respect to all waived requirements in this section 11111, and 11111, one says H1C, one says, CII, okay? Information showing how students in an LEA, which is your school district, or administration, okay, that's just what they call it, respectively achieved on academic assessment compared to students in the state and LEA. That doesn't really pertain to us that much, okay? I wouldn't worry about that. All right. So that's it. All right. So for me, all right, the number one, and you guys are going to have to obviously pick your own. All right. Assessment results is concerning. All right. And then the next one that's concerning is the progress towards meeting long-term goals and measurements of interim progress. To me, that's number one. So those are the two that are the most alarming. And when I looked at this morning, the first thing I saw was that goals one. You know, like my eye just went straight to that. And I pray that it has nothing to do with the whole school year. And like I said, there's just no way, right? I mean, there's no way, especially when the whole school year has pretty much gone by. And how do they say the whole school year doesn't matter when there's only 2 months left, you know? So I'm going to hope on that one that it's just from when schools, turn it off, Sky, that when schools ended to the 45 days after school starts, all right? You can just guarantee that 45 days is in play, all right? So what that means, again, for those of you who may be new on here, etc., don't forget to post a 1 below if you're new, a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie, and I see some of your questions, and I will answer them in a second, or maybe it's just you guys saying hi. So the main thing is from, let's just say March, those 6 months to August, all right? And then if you go beyond that, let's just say to the first week of October, is you can't hold the school accountable for squat. Not a thing, okay? So if in that time, really, honestly, through October, Skylar,
Yeah.
not again. So if you try to do anything, it's going to be disregarded. And then anything you do from then on out is going to be a no because you were a pain in their ass. So don't do that. All right. So do what's been said for those of you who are on here that are on the group in the challenge. Let me have your phone, please.
I said no.
I need your phone.
I said no.
Do you want to keep it? Give me a second. I have to stay consistent. I need your phone.
All right.
You can have it when I'm done if you're good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you things over and over. All right.
Okay.
All right. So we may have a meltdown in a second. So with that said, don't complain during that time. All right. Going into the first week of, just count 45 days from when you start school. Okay. Because everybody's is probably going to be different. Don't say anything in regards to other than having an IEP meeting. You know, they may put you guys off and not even have IEP meetings till October. You can request IEP meetings in regards to, you know, in a way like for Zoom and that sort of thing. They may be having IEP meetings. It's just because it's put off till October doesn't mean they're not going to have them. It just means that they have till then to kind of get things back into play. Okay, it doesn't mean everything's disregarded, all right? Because idea is still idea. You just can't hold them accountable because they're being given time to get back into the realm of things, which is understandable because this isn't anybody's fault, okay? We just can't allow it to be abused for our children, and the waivers abuse this situation, even though it's nobody's fault. So, and that's where clarifications are coming into play in regards to some of these waivers, because if it meant, for example, for progress, and then, you know, any type of progress for long-term goals, and then the measurements of interim, that's short-term. All right, they just didn't use that word. So people would be outraged. People will flip shit, literally. Yeah, it would be a mess. So my thought process is that they're not going to go that route. Now, are they going to give the school leeway? Are they going to give waivers to give the school time? And that's, of course. But I don't think they're going to say, up by 2019, 20, we're not even going to take it into consideration. I don't think that that's going to be it. Okay. But like I said, I'm going to get back to you guys, and I want to be transparent at the fact that I want to go over these with you so that you have some comprehension with it, because, that's why I didn't come live earlier, because I needed clarification on things. And then when I get more clarification on the in-depth part of what it means exactly, and how it's going to affect us, then I will come back live and I will have all those clarifications for you. Okay? But you just have to kind of ingrain in your brain that, because I've seen so many questions, not even on my page and group. Can I email the school? Can I go after speech? Can I go after, OT? Can I, demand an IEP via Zoom? Can I demand an IEP? All these things. In all honesty, the school system does not have to do anything right now unless your school system, okay, it's not by state, it's by district, all right? So for your county, your area, is the school giving mandatory online virtual learning? Mandatory, all right? That it is happening on point every day at the same time, all right? Different subjects, different learning. If it's not mandatory and it's just you're given packets and you're being checked up on and things like that, that is not a mandatory learning strategy and way in which children are learning, okay, in regards to schools and teachers being in play, all right? That is not happening. So in most areas, okay? And so what that means is, sure, the schools are sending us these, in my area, stupid packets and websites that I could have looked up myself. You don't need to send it to me. And, literally what I've been sent is, worthless. Like I should have a video and show you what I've been sent. It's that stupid. And so in my mind, I'm like, what was the point? And, even with the superintendent, he sent out a letter that it just was ignorant, and in regards to, next year we're going to look at it as this. I come live and just talk about it because it ticked me off, in the sense of, we're just going to, do this for next year. And this is how we're thinking. And this is how parents need to, be thinking now, kind of like throwing it on us. And even though it's nobody's fault, it should not be all on our shoulders, and this is just a messed up situation. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, don't email me and put out a letter that insults me, Now, that could be my interpretation. I don't know what you guys have received from your superintendent, but for me, it was not empathetic in any way of caring about what parents are going through right now in general, let alone special needs parents, okay? Not that we're any worse off than a parent that just has children with no disabilities, but we do have extra crap on our plate that we have to deal with in regards to education, okay? And, to be sent, these formal letters that are in a way insulting, but their way of nonchalantly passing over information to us, so to speak, being nice about it, ticks me off. All right. And I've been in the education world for now. It's actually going to... my anniversary, my 14-year anniversary is later this month. So I keep saying I've been doing this for 13 years. It's going to be 14 at the end of the month. So, you know, yeah. So, I hope this gave you guys some understanding of what we're leading into, at least some processing of what you guys need to be focused on versus not focused on. Don't focus on demands right now. Okay, you're going to be doing that, I promise you, but not right now. All right, there's a time and place for things. You know, my mother always taught me that. I never listened, but now I get it. All right, there's a time and place for things, right? It's kind of like, you know, and I do this all the time, guys. You guys know I have the most retarded analogies, but here's the funny thing, all right, is, you know, when we, you know, do these types of things, and when I go live and, you know, talk to you guys, I always like to analyze things. I'm an analyzer, you know, but we'll just leave it at that. Okay. So yes, Precious, I do pretty much go live daily, but not here on the page. Typically that's on the group. And right now I'm going live daily. We're doing the 30-day challenge, which is focusing on what you need to be doing now. Because like I said, a lot of parents get lax, lazy, etc., which is totally understandable, guys. I'm not, you know, knocking on that. What I'm saying is a lot of parents, we get lazy and, you know, we don't really do anything over this. We need that break, right? I mean, I know I do, but the thing is, you know, and honestly, I know I do, but I can't because it's what I do full time, you know, and people who are, especially people who take my course are under the understanding and totally get, you know, the fact that you can't get lazy and lax, even over the summer, even though people are going to the beach, even though people are vacationing, even though, and let me tell you, once things are lifted in my state, I can't wait to use my Busch Gardens season pass and go to water country in Williamsburg and go see my friends in Florida. I can't wait. But you know what? I'm still going to be going live because I can, because it's online and I can do that. And even bring my friends on live that are here on the page in the group and them talk to you too. And, you know, so you'll see a lot of that over the summer. I'm so excited about it. But, you know, we all want that break. And I'm telling you guys, don't do it this time. Not this time. Okay. So we have, all right, April, May, June, July. Most of us start school in August. So let's just leave that alone. We have 3 months to get our, you know what, together. All right. Along with possibly teaching our kids, and hopefully doing them a little bit of justice and not getting too far behind. But I mean, I'm not, you know, an occupational therapist, a speech therapist, you know, all these different things. That's not my expertise. You know, I have experience in behavior modification, and I have experience in teaching, but not special ed kids, along with my own. So I've never said that, you know, hey, that's my specialty. Yeah, I'm a teacher, but I taught kindergarten and high school. You know, I didn't teach special ed. So, you know, dealing with that type of teaching, even with my older kids who are 23 and 19, soon to be 24 and 19? Yeah. There is no way I could have taught them, you know, like I'm not the homeschool mom, not my cup of tea. And so having to teach Sky is driving her crazy and me crazy. Sky, is it driving you crazy, Mom, having to teach you? Yeah. So,
you took my phone.
Well, you didn't listen, so I had to take your phone.
I have to walk away somewhere else.
Yeah. So yeah, with that said, you can't get lazy the next 3 months. You have to actually prepare more than you ever have before. in a different way. Now, as I've taught and as I teach, the IEP process is a foreign language. I'm going to get to you guys, I promise. Is a foreign language of a process. All right. I didn't get it. It took me 6.5 years for me to get it. And what I mean by get it is not just navigate the whole, okay, you go to an IEP meeting, you kind of feel your way around, you make all these mistakes and things that you say thinking you know the verb. Oh, I thought I knew the verbiage. You have no idea how much I thought I knew the verbiage. I didn't. I said best for the longest time. You guys need to do what's best for my child. Why aren't you doing what's best for my child? Well, they don't have to do what's best for your child. So, I was using my words wrong. Them knowing just by using the smallest of words wrong, they automatically know you don't know your crap. Automatically. All right. And they're going to weasel their way. And again, you guys, I'm not a knocker of all schools. I'm just saying this is just how it is for most of us. All right. And that's why we're in this society of parents of special needs children who are going bonkers with this process because it's so stressful, so anxiety driven. I mean, I'm surprised many parents have not had, nervous breakdowns because of it sometimes, but I'll be honest with you, I've had a lot of parents contact me and thank God, they feel comfortable and safe enough to confide in me. I appreciate that. Saying they've had a lot of depression and have had a lot of anxiety lately. And, because I check up on people every once in a while and, hey, how are you? Just, how are you doing? It's kind of nice to, feel that somebody thought about you. I know I like that. And, so I check up on people and say, hey, what's up? How are you? You dropped off the face of the earth. What's going on? And I've had people come back and say, hey, sorry, I have, dropped off the face of the earth. And, I've just, with all this going on, I've been really stressed out and a lot of anxiety and depression and, which is normal. You don't have to have ongoing depression or ongoing anxiety or be diagnosed with either to have that. Because this is a situation that is a situational anxiety, a situational depression. Okay. And, I've dealt with anxiety all my life. And, this has had me, all over the place because it's nerve-wracking, and this isn't even the IEP process. This is just what's going on today, So just know that you're normal. If there is such a thing. I actually don't like that word, normal, because what's normal? And honestly, when you're quirky and weird and aren't normal, I like you better. People that have character, and normal's not character. Just my 2 cents. But yeah, what's normal? Skylar has autism, and I've learned more from her than a ton of people, So just know that you guys are okay. All right, you're fine. All right, it's totally fine that you got anxiety or depression or you're stressed out and you're just like, what the hell can I do? What are my rights? What am I allowed to do? My child's not getting this, and this, and you're kind of freaking out. And, then hearing from people like me that there's nothing you can do really sucks, right? So, but you gotta let it go. There's some things in life you just gotta let go. But what you don't let go is your drive, all right? Get your mindset in the right place and get the engine moving. Kind of like those annoying cars that they push the accelerator, at the light and you're ready to shoot yourself because it's so annoying, because their cars you just want to blow it up because it's that annoying. But that's what you need to do. You need to rev that engine, okay? And have the mindset that, all right, I got this issue. I got this problem. The passiveness in any of you needs to go out the window and you need to be a changed person. And you need to rev that engine, whatever it takes, for you to do that. And you need to get the right mindset to say, all right, I'm in this situation. It's nobody's fault. Unfortunately, my child's suffering. These are the things that are going on. Raven has said, hold me accountable. I need to, she's doing her 30-day challenge over on the group, so I'm going to record. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to do all the things that she's saying to do. Why? Because I see the value in, oh, the school really isn't seeing my child. So I guess I do have to take video because, the video is all I'm going to have to show the school that this is what's going on. Because are they going to take my word? No. So you have to record. And then you want to create a really cool video for them off all those recordings after you clip it, which it sounds harder than it is. I will show you if you need help. I will do a whole video on how to do it. Because it's that easy, okay? And I am not technical like that, all right? But the other thing is you need to rev your engines in regards to 45 days is going to come and go, and you all need to be on it. You got to really be on it. And I mean, you got to own the fact that you got to do this, all right? And that you already lost 6 months. Six. A half a year. Your child is losing half a year. Let me give you an example of that. Okay, so, and then I got to get off here because I'm like hitting almost an hour, y'all. Okay, so what I mean by that is, think about it. I'll just give you an example in my situation, all right? My child has a one-on-one. My child receives OT 3 days a week for 45 minutes. My child receives typing with her OT in a gen ed classroom to learn how to type better, which I have her doing, but they didn't teach me what they're doing. So I'm kind of winging it. And my child gets 3 hours a week of speech. And my child gets dance to help her with her sensory issues and movement. And then she gets 5 hours a week of reading, which is the biggest problem I have right now. I keep telling everybody I got a great IEP, but she was failed and not given FAPE the year before last in reading. So, I'm always in the trenches with y'all, even though the IEP is rock solid. So you can have a great IEP and things still not play out the way you want them to. You just need to know how to go about it. And know about compensatory services, know about due process, and do what you got to do and not be scared about it. That's the difference between becoming knowledgeable and confident to be that CEO and just kind of winging it. She was actually doing Lexia and Star, which is shit. And she really needs to be doing what is it? It's what Linda Mood Bell does. The ganglium something. The one that starts with a G. I got to look it up. But it's the one that's like Wilson reading and that sort of thing. Are you a teacher, Matthew? But if you want to teach my kid reading, shoot, I will pay you for it because I need help with that. I have her doing Epic right now. But anyway, guys, yeah, this is just frustrating, but please rev your engines. Please get ready for this because you are going to have the fight of your life, all right? You thought maybe you had the fight of your life trying to get your child maybe put into Linda Mood Bell. Yeah, for compensatory, $27,000 for 12 weeks. Yes, sir. They're giving it to her this summer for compensatory, and we're in negotiations now if they don't want to go to due process. To give her probably 3 more 12-week sessions, which is going to cost them about $100,000. But I don't care. I won one 12-week. I'm going to win the other 3, or they're going to due process, and they can spend the $100,000 doing that because their attorney is expensive. So they can spend it giving my child what she needs, or they can spend it on their attorney. It's up to them. So I'm pretty sure we'll come to an agreement, though. But so with that said, stay focused, guys. All right. And what I mean by the fight of your life is, okay, let me give you an example. All right. So many of you may have had IEP meetings coming up this spring, your yearly coming up this spring. You probably were going to go in if you watched my webinar or heard my webinar, and you've heard me talking about ESY. You're probably going to go after ESY. You're probably, going to kick it up a notch in regards to getting things, services, accommodations, and modifications in place right now so that they transfer over to next year. And now you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, you can still get that in play, all right? But you got to think about it and plan, all right? So that you're productive, okay? You got to create that plan of action first before you can take action, which is why I trademarked my PPPN, all right? And so once you do that, you are going to be successful. This year is not screwed, but you have to be on it now. If you're not, and you don't start till August, September, or that 45-day mark, October, you're screwed for half the year. So basically your kid lost a year. That's what's going to happen. All right. I will be opening the doors to my course again very soon. So go to my website and click on the Educational Vault, get on the waiting list. All right. I don't open it all the time. It is not open all the time. All right. I have a pretty large waiting list, and I will open it pretty soon. But you guys got to get your mindsets together. All right. And you got to stay focused and not be focused on the resentfulness of all the things that your child doesn't receive and isn't receiving right now. All right. And that's it for today. All right. And when I find out the clarifications, and we've sent emails, and there's a bunch of us on this, we will, or I will, come live and talk to you about the waivers and discuss with you what they mean in depth, where we will have a Q&A after I go through it. And if you catch the replay, then ask questions, and I will come back and answer them. Or maybe somebody else's question was your question, and we'll go from there. Okay? So let me look at some of y'all's comments, and then I'm going to hop off here. So hey, Tara and Michelle and Shauna and Kathy, welcome. Thank you for posting a 1. You have to post, where you're from. And hi, Barbara. How are you? And Jesse and Danny. All right, we have Tanya. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you? Is it Chardon Thomas? Welcome. Just had your annual IEP meeting for my son Monday. Was it online? You're lucky that they're doing that. Thanks, Shauna, for posting the group link. So if you guys want to join the group, go ahead and click that link. Tara, so if my son only needed 2 occupational therapy observations from the school to determine if he is eligible to get an IEP, and our school in Missouri opens back up this year, do they still need to complete the OT observations before we get our IEP? Yes. So if they only had to do 2 occupational therapy observations, then they still will need to do that. Yes. Or do they not have to do any of it this year, even if they open, because they have, they do not have to do that until the 45 days. Sorry. But you can go get an IEE on your own, and they possibly take that into consideration. Okay? Do the 30-day challenge. Make sure you have things on recording, and go get 1 or 2 IEEs from 2 different occupational therapists. Because in all honesty, if all he needed was 2 observations, not even an evaluation, and you go get 2 different evaluations, you got this. And insurance pays for it, so that's what I would do. And just be ahead of them, and say, hey, y'all were just doing 2 observations. I mean, there's no need to wait 45 days for this when, his needs need to be met. And, I went to 1 or 2 different occupational therapists, and this was the results. argue it that way. And then it kind of, puts that into play. If not, still do the IEE, but then on that 46-day mark, you be on it, but you still have to make a plan of action, and, there's no harm in messaging them now and weekly and don't say anything about your IEE, just go do it. And then you can even email it to them and be on it now, Cece says, wouldn't the end of school year be December 2020? No. Each school year is by school year. All right. So 2019-20 is one school year. 2020 to 2021 is another school year. Okay. It doesn't run December to December. It runs August, September to May, June. Makes sense? And then ESY, obviously. Hi, Jen. How are you? Welcome. Thanks for posting a 1. Make sure you tell us where you're from. Matthew says, hello, can and how do I request an IEP meeting? You just send an email and say, I'm requesting an IEP meeting. That's it. But right now, don't expect them to respond because they really don't have to. Precious says, do you go live daily? Yeah, I said right now I am for 30 days on the group, but normally I go live at least every other day, every 2 days. And here on the page, normally I go live twice a week. But, I'm thinking about with all this going on that I'll go live a little bit more. I normally go live on the group, but I'll start going live here every once in a while too. But definitely join the group. Matthew says, can I request an IEP meeting? How the school claims to be under distance learning? Yeah, you can request an IEP meeting via email, which is how you request it. However, they don't have to do all that right now because schools are closed. All right. Tara says, you do have a video on how to clip video. I have been trying and it's not working. Okay. What do you say to that? I think I just answered you, Matthew. What is the program reading? Okay. That's what the IEE psychoeducational recommended. Linda Moodbell. Oh, yeah. Well, psychoeducational evaluation. That's excellent. And Linda Moodbell is amazing. Yes. Michelle says, that's awesome. Okay. Districts in California prefer to go to due process. I'm moving to California, from California to Austin. Oh, my brother's in Austin, Deborah. The IEP goals are not specific. Do you work with ADHD? Absolutely. Yes, I do. And IEPs, just so you know, Deborah, IEPs are IEPs are IEPs, okay? Same process across the board, just a different disability. But in all honesty, the IEP is not based off disability in any way, shape, or form. The IEP is based off of the impact of the disability. So, for example, with ADHD, some children, for example, can't sit for a movie. They're just all over the place. They're moving at all times. They got to be, kept busy. So obviously that's an impact of the ADHD, and in a classroom that can be quite disturbing. So, there's various different accommodations, modifications, and, services that can be provided to help and support that child in their setting and the least restrictive environment, or if they need a least restrictive environment, or a more restrictive environment, I should say. So, yes, and I know Texas laws very well. My dad's in Dallas and my brother is in Austin. But I work in pretty much every state. There's some states that I've just actually gotten to know this year, but Texas is one I work with all the time. And, it's fine, you don't have to worry. Texas is actually decent, and Austin is amazing. So you're lucky you're moving there. It's depending on what county, but everybody has their ups and downs and goods and bads, some more bad, some more good. But Austin's a great city. You're going to love it. And when I come out there, you're going to have to message me. I'll call you. But yes, and goals are supposed to be SMART, so specific, measurable, accountable, and realistic. I hate that word. And then time limited. So yes, I'm queen of making SMART goals. I'm queen of looking at an IEP and pinpointing things that are just crap and words that should not even be in the IEP or any IEP. So yes, the answer is yes. Auditory processing, diagnosis, they argue it and pull her out, homeschooling till Austin next year. Okay. Yeah, that's one for some stupid reason that they argue, which is crap. And yes, there's ways around that because it's actually a true diagnosis that affects so many different areas of the child processing and how their brain works. That's it's kind of like, autism is a brain disorder and how things work, what makes that child tick, and auditory processing is huge in how a child processes information. So the fact that schools kind of disregard that disability, which they're not even allowed to do because it has to do with how does that disability impact your child, is insane to me, and I don't put up with it. I didn't sign anything and did a stay put. Good. Good, good, good. All right, guys. So click that link and join the group if you haven't. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Skylar and I are going to go take our 5-mile walk. I'm going to shove food down my throat real quick and go take our walk. It's kind of like helps me get mentally sane. But yeah, so hopefully you guys got some value out of this, and hopefully, you just get your heads in the game and, have it in the right way, in the right route. So reroute things and know that, there's some things we just have to deal with, and it's going to be all good. All right. So I will talk to you guys soon, and make sure that you post below any more questions that you have, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.